Hello, welcome to our Wednesday devotional. I'm again thankful that you have chosen to spend a few minutes with me as I share a thought or two with you. If you've listened to me preach or give devotions very often, you know that I enjoy using a technique called alliteration. Alliteration is a technique of speaking or writing when you use the same sound two or three times or several times, or the same letter several times as you're speaking, whether it's in an outline form or simply in repetitive words going right along. I enjoy that style. In the Bible, we have a wonderful illustration of this style. By the way, I know some of you might think that my alliteration is really illiterate, but that's another story for another time. In the Bible, however, in the 108th Psalm, we read what the psalmist wrote, and it is a very good illustration of alliteration. That is in English. In English, we read this: "The Lord is my strength and my song, and has become my salvation." Strength, song, salvation. All three sound the same and begin with the same letter. However, in the original language, I have no idea what that sounds like because we're reading it in God's preserved word in the English language. The Lord is my strength and song and is become my salvation. Let me just give you a thought or two about each of those three things and use that outline from verse 14 of Psalm 118 as my outline. First of all, the Lord is my strength. We fool ourselves if we think we're going to do anything for God in our own strength. The fact is, He gives us not only spiritual strength, He gives us emotional strength, and He allows us and provides for us physical strength. Were it not for His goodness, any one of us could be injured or have some physical issues that would go against our doing things in our own strength. But we have an illustration of this in 2 Corinthians chapter 12. The Apostle Paul talks about this when he was talking about his strength. He was mightily used of God. What a blessing it is to study his life and study his ministry, especially as it relates to missions. This week we finish our missions conference, so missions is still on my heart and on my mind. But you remember what he said? He had a problem, and he had tried to get rid of the problem. He'd prayed for God to take the problem away. And God had said, wait a minute. When you're weak, that's when I'm strong. When you're weak, that's when I show my strength through you. Sometimes I'm thankful that I don't have a great deal of strength because that allows God to work through me. Here's the way Paul said it. He said that God spoke to him when he asked to have the thorn in the flesh removed and said this: "My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness." Paul then responded by saying, "Most gladly therefore will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me." So the psalmist years earlier had understood the same truth when he said, "The Lord is my strength." When we're doing things, especially things that involve God's work, let's recognize that the Lord is our strength. Whether we're teaching or singing or preparing a message or witnessing, the Lord is my strength. But the second thing he said, the Lord is my song. The Lord is my strength and song. My wife and I talk often about how blessed we are to have our rich heritage in Christian music. There are times we grew up singing. We grew up in churches where there was a lot of music. We grew up in that kind of environment. And there are times when one or the other of us will burst out in a song, a Christian song, and the other one will join right in harmony. We know the words, we'll sing a verse or two, and then we'll muse and say, well, I wonder where that came from. It came from our heart because the Lord is our song. The Lord, the psalmist said, is our strength and our song. And then he said this, he concluded that verse, Psalm 118:14, by saying, the Lord is become my salvation. Our trust is in him. We have salvation through no other. Amazingly, the Lord provided salvation for us. When Jesus died, he was providing our salvation. The Lord offers us salvation. It's a gift that we accept or reject. We have that option, that opportunity. But then the psalmist understood it completely when he said, the Lord has become my salvation. Not only does he provide it and offer it, he becomes our salvation. What a joy it is to know the truth of Psalm 118:14. The Lord is my strength and song, and he has become my salvation. You don't need alliteration to worship the Lord, but it's fun when I find it right in the scriptures. The Lord is my strength and song, and has become my salvation. Have a wonderful day.